Hey guys, welcome back to another Snowrunner video on Highway Haulin 2. So today we are going to head up to the off-road resort that is located up at the top of the mountain. We're going to be taking this four-wheel drive ER that I tweaked many moons ago up there for a run. I'm just going to show you around town while we head through. If you look on your right, there's the bowling alley. And if you look on your left, we have a drive-in movie theater, which I think will be a lot of fun for role-playing. It's doesn't look like a very interesting movie, but we got a few people ready to go. On the right-hand side, we just have a apartment building with a couple people there. Pretty ritzy looking place. An automobile parts store, and then on the left is the coffee shop. And we are going to make a right and head up the hill. We're going way up the mountain, up into the snow type area. So we're going to be basically opening up the resort. Is going to be a task, or I guess a contract group on this. So we're going to head up and go see what kind of condition it's in. I imagine it's going to be pretty muddy, so it'll be a good place for this truck. So just coming up the hill here, we have a few factories and stuff. Kind of an industrial area, but we are going to make a left here and pull up to the tunnel that I have created that goes underneath the highway. It was a suggestion from my one Patreon member, Clint, and you know what, it's awesome, and I pulled it off. Unfortunately, you're going to have to do an in-cab view to get through here because the camera glitches out, but I thought it was a kind of a nice feature. Great idea, and you know what, it works. So just on the other side of the tunnel, we have a fuel factory that's going to be a contract set. It'll probably be 4 or 5 big deliveries. There's a kind of a small subdivision. This is actually coming into the group of houses that I took you guys through on the very first video of the Highway Haulin 2 map. I think that was the house that we pulled into. No, it was this one right here is the one that we pulled into. So you guys have seen this, but I've added most of the signage and lighting. If you notice, a lot of the little stuff has come up, and I'm getting really close. I have a couple more things to build, and then I'm gonna really start focusing on missions and basically integrating the two maps together. Right in front of us is the plaza with some shopping malls and probably a restaurant and stuff. It is just off the highway, so we're making the right here and we're heading right up the mountain now. So again, like the other roads, we've actually seen this road before. You're just gonna see the scenery kind of change the further we get up the hill and eventually into snow. I've worked a little more on the transition between the grass to snow, so I think it's a little less abrupt, but it's still working on it. Up at the top of the mountain here is going to have a whole bunch of off-road trailing. I'm going to show you just a small chunk of it. It's a little bit longer video, I would imagine, in the end, but we'll go right down to the logging area. We're going to pass a whole bunch of turns. Hopefully I don't get lost. I've never driven this whole route, although I kind of planned it out in the editor before I started this video. That left we just went by is going to take you up to the factory that we went up to in the first video. This straight through is where we went in the last one that we took the logging truck down into the logging camp. We're going to take the other road in eventually as we work our way around the off-road trails. This hill I fixed up a little bit, not quite as an abrupt angle change when you come up to the top of the hill. This is, I believe this is where we pulled over. Yep, and we took the Ural in the last video up this logging road here. So we're going to be into similar kind of trails, only these are going to be a lot smaller and probably quite a bit muddier. We'll see how the mud turns out. I really haven't driven much on them yet. You can see we're into snow now. It's kind of wet looking, and This is the left hand that we're going to take, that's going to take us into the resort. And it's pretty small little paved road. That is actually some of the trail system that we're going to be riding on with the ER, which I just updated the ER so that it's console compatible, or at least up for approval, so we'll see if it comes to you guys. Just went through a phase there for a while, as you can tell, changing 6-wheeled vehicles into 4x4s, and this is just a fun little mud bogger. It's not really much of a crawler, but it does okay. But just something a little different. You forget how big the ER is too, but it's a good mudder. You'll see as we get up into the trail system. So right now we're just coming into the resort that I don't think anyone's been in here yet this year. It looks like we're just in opening season, and the parking lot is soft. Gonna be people that aren't too happy about that doing some road grading. So if you look there, there's a hot tub in the background. We got a couple places that you guys can stay over for the role play fun. The parking lot is really soft. May have to fix that up a bit. We're almost buried the truck so far. So we'll just unload this sucker and we'll take it for a drive and see what it does. I haven't used it too much since I adjusted it when I re-uploaded for console approval, so we'll see. It's certainly not supposed to be an OP truck. It's good in the mud, but it's not gonna drive through with no problem, so it's pretty good for testing this kind of stuff. I had forgotten about it, and I was playing around in my mod list, and I thought, what the heck, right? So we're gonna head up the road on this little trail, and the mud is a little deep for high speed. We'll crawl through it. I hope the whole thing isn't like this. I want spots to be this deep, but I don't want the whole trail system to be. I want it to be high speed spots, kind of a mix. There'll be some real mudding spots and more like what you're seeing right here. Like, I want to be able to drive in it. We just don't want a slog fest. So we're going to head left up here, and we're basically going to do the first little loop around the resort that'll take us around a few trails, and then we're going to head up. We're going to go by the gravel pit, which is going to be a few runs from the first map for a couple tasks that are, ooh, that was a little bit of damage. They are going to be, I think there's 1 or 2 tasks on the first map that are actually going to use that as a load point. So there's going to be a few tasks from the first map that are going to change, and they're going to be deliveries that you need to pick up on the second map. Obviously, when I made the first one, I didn't have access to this one yet, so it will be a little different. Right now I'm planning on adding the second map to this mod rather than make a whole new mod with a 2-map region. Let me know what you guys think. I could either leave the first highway hauling map the way it is and then make a whole new mod for the region and leave that as a single map, perhaps put dev tools on it whenever that comes back to you console players for the unlimited money. But I could also update it so we started with more money and then keep the region as a no dev tools, no help, real contract work map. So let me know what you guys think. This trail system is, I'm pretty happy with it so far. The little truck's performing pretty well too. It is about what I envisioned with the mud depth. You never know if you've overdone it or not until you come in and play it for a bit. It's quite confusing. Well, it's just overwhelming, all the lines that show the mud depth, so it's pretty easy to overdo it if you're not being careful. So we got the water's melted up here. It's almost like it's just snowed again last night kind of feel. Not deep snow left from winter, but certainly soft and not high gear area, as I can tell there. We're just coming up on the highway that we came in with the 2 trucks. We're going to go straight across it and follow the trail up around the other side of the resort. there's, like I said, there's a whole bunch of looping trails. Once you get going, you'll find T's everywhere, and you'll find spots where you can turn. So kind of tried to make a system you could get lost on. Still plan on adding a few camping system or camping sites and stuff like that to the trail system, a couple hunt camp kind of cottages, things like that for you guys to find. Always good to hide a bit of fuel and stuff around trailers and things like that. So I'll try to add some ambience into the forest so it isn't just forest, but I'm also trying to make it feel fairly wild up at the top of the mountain. There isn't a whole lot of stuff. It's just little things on tiny little cabins on roads like this, and give you that feel that you're way up there. Most of the stuff that you need, like fuel and repairs and stuff, are all going to be down at the bottom of the mountain, which there's many ways to get up and down, and lots to find in both areas really. The bottom's definitely totally civilized, and then as you work your way up here, it's just less and less. Couple factories, things like that, but just not much going on up here other than nice wild and snow melting. And this is, I like the areas like this that have a little bit of depth to them, and I think it needs that different range of depths around the trail system. Just keep it interesting, but I'm really trying to make something that's fun. I mean, this is a mudding vehicle, so it's doing pretty good. I don't think you'd bring a Lodestar up and come through it quite this easy, but I don't want to have something that's just gets stuck the whole time. I want this to be some good mudding fun, some cruising. I've left the forests pretty open, and everything is muddy up here, so by all means it's set up to just head off through the forest and do your own thing. Most of the river is, I think most of it's pretty drivable. I still have to test that, but I've tried to make a lot of it interactive. There's a couple of big waterfalls on it too that I may post a few pictures of. They're more down towards the bottom, but I think two of the smaller ones you can drive up, but don't quote me on that yet. I still got to test it. You guys drive everywhere. It's incredible the stuff you guys find. It blows my mind. I don't know if anybody saw the guy jumping off the lookout at the very top of Tumbler Ridge and landing on the next watch point down below, which just blew my mind. I never planned that, obviously, but you guys always figure it out. Pretty cool. So here, I'm a little confused, but I think we're heading right up the hill. We'll find out if we went the correct way in a minute. We should go past a little cabin up here that is kind of a good example of what you're going to find up around on these trails. I'm just starting to get to it. I haven't put a whole lot up here, but I'm going to try and put some interesting stuff for you guys to find. Always keeps you moving a bit when there are a few little secrets hiding around. Yep, so there's the cabin. It would be tough to get to this time of year, but you know what? You get a lot of peace when you're out in the bush that far. We actually have a hunt camp that we go to that's about 14 kilometers back in a logging road, and you never know what the road's going to be like when you head in there, but when you get back there, it's peace and quiet. You'll see the odd person on four-wheelers or side-by-sides coming through to their little cabins, but no power, no water. You use the outhouse. It's great up there because you're just away from everyone. It's a nice place to go. So we did go the right way. This is the gravel pit, which is, like I said, going to be at least one task from the first map that's going to change to be picking something here. And we are going to make a right instead of going into the pit. And this is going to take us down into the logging road, or the logging camp, sorry. This is the other way down into it. There are a few different ways that connect over to that other trail, but this is the steeper way to get in. It's shorter. It'll get you down there a heck of a lot quicker, but you might roll down the side of the hill too with the logging setup. It's pretty good running this thing. I've been down it once, and I'm pretty happy with it. It might be a little steep in spots, but let me know. I mean, we want a challenge too. I also get that this is a video game, and sometimes realistic isn't as fun, so it's kind of hitting the balance between as realistic as you can, but still challenging the vehicles. I don't go out of my way to make sure mod vehicles don't run around here. I bet you there'll be a lot of trucks that won't even notice this mud, but I'm focusing more towards the stuff that not OP, not vanilla trucks, but you know, kind of in the middle. This, like I said, this isn't an OP truck, but I definitely tuned up the mud tires a bit, and I'm pretty happy with how it's going through here. I don't think it's unrealistic per se, and this is a big four-wheel drive vehicle with some big tires. So we are just down at the logging camp, and if you remember from the other video, it took us quite a bit longer to get down here, which means this is a lot quicker, but again, it might be a spot where logs, and especially coming back out, it'll be tough to get up and down there. So as usual, guys, I just want to let you know that I have started a Patreon, and I would love to get anyone else on as members. It really is going to allow me to spend more time making maps. You guys get access to drive around on this right now as I build it and make contracts. I have Aftershock 2, which is half built, which is also accessible. And, you know, I just hoping that I can keep spending this much time building maps and just keep everyone happy and enjoying it. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll talk to you again soon.